Inborn errors of metabolism, storage and amino acid disorders. Today, we will talk about how our bodies break down food into energy every day. Sometimes, a baby is born with a broken part in their body's energy factory. This broken part is usually a tiny worker, which we call an enzyme in science. When this enzyme does not work right, things can go very wrong in the body. Now, we are going to practice what we learned with some simple and clear questions. Let us review the main points again, so you remember them perfectly for your test. An inborn error means the baby is born with a broken system for digesting food. The broken system causes bad things to pile up, which can damage the whole body. Amino acid problems deal with protein parts, while storage problems deal with trapped cellular trash. We always want to test babies early, so we can start feeding them special diets. These special diets save lives, and they let children grow up without any brain damage. We will look at specific diseases in the next sections, so stay with me here. We will learn the names of the missing enzymes and the problems they cause inside. 1. What exactly is an inborn error of metabolism, and how does it start? It is a broken energy factory in the body, which you get from your parents. The body lacks a tiny worker enzyme, which stops it from breaking down certain foods safely. 2. Why do amino acid disorders cause harm to a baby's growing brain and body? The body cannot process the protein blocks, so they build up and act like poison. Without the right enzyme to digest them, the leftover amino acids destroy the healthy nerve cells. 3. What is the main problem that happens inside the cells during a storage disorder? The cell's tiny trash cans are broken, causing waste to get stuck inside forever. Because the waste cannot leave the cell swells up and stops doing its job. 4. How do doctors usually find out if a newborn baby has a metabolic problem? They take a small drop of blood from the heel to test for missing enzymes. Finding the disease early is very good, because doctors can stop the damage before it starts. 5. What does the medical term PKU stand for in the study of metabolic diseases? It stands for Phenylketonuria, which is a famous sickness where babies cannot process regular milk. People with this disease must eat a special diet, so they do not get brain damage. 6. Why is a special diet so important for children who have an amino acid disorder? It removes the specific food parts that the child's body is not able to digest. By not eating the bad food, the child avoids the poison buildup and grows up healthy. 7. What is an enzyme, and what role does it play in the human body? It is a tiny worker inside your body, which chops up food into usable energy. Without these special workers, our bodies would not be able to function or stay alive today. 8. How does a storage disorder physically change the organs inside a sick person's body? The trapped waste takes up too much space, making organs like the liver get too big. When organs get too big from the waste, they press on other things and cause pain. 9. Can we cure inborn errors of metabolism with medicine or surgery right now? We do not have a full cure right now, but we can manage the bad symptoms. Doctors can sometimes replace the missing enzymes or change the diet, but the disease remains forever. 10. What happens to the food if the body cannot break it down properly? The food piles up like useless garbage, instead of giving the person any good energy. This garbage buildup is what causes the illness, by damaging the organs and the nerve paths. 11. Why do doctors need to know the specific missing enzyme to help a sick patient? Knowing the exact missing piece helps them pick the correct diet or the right medicine. Different enzymes handle different types of food, so the treatment must match the specific broken part. 12. Are these metabolic diseases something you can catch from another person like a bad cold? You cannot catch these diseases from someone else, because they are passed down through families. A baby is born with the problem already in their body, coming from their parents' traits. 13. Why might a baby with a metabolic disorder seem perfectly normal right after they arrive? The mother's body cleans the baby's blood before birth, so the poison has not built up. Once the baby starts eating on their own, the bad chemicals begin to pile up inside. 14. What is the main difference between an amino acid disorder and a storage disorder problem? One deals with toxic protein buildup, while the other involves trapped cellular waste inside cells. Both problems are caused by missing enzymes, but they damage the human body in different ways. 15. How long do patients need to stay on their special diets for their metabolic condition? They usually need to stay on their special diets for their entire lives to stay safe. If they stop the diet at any time, the toxic chemicals will return and cause damage. 16. Why might a doctor check a baby who is not learning to walk on time? Failure to walk or sit can be a big clue that brain damage is happening. Brain damage is a common result of these diseases, when the poison levels get too high. 17. What do we call the tiny building blocks that make up the proteins in food? We call them amino acids, and they are very important for growing a strong human body. If the body fails to digest them, they stop being helpful and become extremely dangerous instead. 18. What is the main goal of the special newborn screening tests done in the hospital? The goal is to find sick babies fast, so treatment can begin before they get hurt. Catching the problem early is the best way to make sure the baby lives a normal life. 19. How do enzyme replacement therapies help people who have specific types of storage disorders today? The medicine gives the body the missing worker, so it can finally clear out the trash. This treatment reduces the swelling in the organs, and it helps the patient feel much better. Please check the description below this video, so you can get the full course right now. Section 2. Welcome back to our class, where we are learning about metabolic disorders. In this second part, we will look closely at sugar storage problems. Your body needs sugar to run, just like air needs gas. When you eat food, your body saves some sugar for later use. This saved sugar is called glycogen, and it sits in your liver. When you are playing hard, your body breaks this glycogen back down. This gives you quick energy, so you do not feel very tired, but some babies are born without the worker enzyme for this job. If the worker is missing, the glycogen gets stuck in the liver. The baby cannot use the saved sugar, so their blood sugar drops. Low blood sugar is dangerous, and it can make a baby faint. Also, the stuck glycogen makes the liver swell up very very big. We call this illness a glycogen storage disease, which is very rare. One famous type is called von Gaucher disease, found in young children. Babies with this sickness need to eat small meals all day long. They might even drink cornstarch, which releases sugar very slowly for them. This slow sugar helps them sleep through the night without getting sick. Another type of sugar problem is called Pompe disease, affecting the muscles. In Pompe disease, the sugar gets trapped inside the muscle cells instead. This makes the baby's muscles very weak, including the heavy heart muscle. A weak heart is a big problem, making it hard to breathe. Doctors can sometimes give a special medicine to replace the missing worker. This medicine goes directly into the blood, helping to clear the trash. It makes the muscles stronger, giving the child a much better life. We also have diseases called lysosomal storage disorders, which act like dumps. A lysosome is a tiny bag of acid inside every single cell. This little bag breaks down old parts, keeping the whole cell clean. If the acid bag lacks a worker, the old parts stay trapped. Tay-Sachs disease is a very sad lysosomal problem, hurting the growing brain. Babies with Tay-Sachs seem fine at first, but then they stop smiling. The trapped waste ruins their nerve cells, making them lose their skills. Right now, we do not have a cure for this terrible sickness. Doctors can only help them feel comfortable, which is very hard work. Another lysosomal disease is called Gaucher disease, which hurts the child's bones. The trapped waste makes the bones weak, so they can break easily. It also makes the child's spleen get huge, causing a lot of pain. We can treat Gaucher disease by giving the patient the missing worker. This treatment takes a long time, but it protects the weak bones. As you can see, all these illnesses follow the exact same pattern. A missing worker causes a blocked path, and trash piles up inside. We always look for the blocked path, so we can fix it. Sometimes we change the food, and sometimes we give new medicine drops. Every patient is different, requiring doctors to make a very careful plan. Our goal is always to keep the child happy and feeling safe. I want you to remember these disease names for your upcoming test. Think about how the body acts just like a very busy factory. When one machine breaks, the whole factory floor gets messy and stuck. Now, we will practice answering more questions about these exact same diseases. 20. How does a normal body use the stored sugar called glycogen daily? The body breaks it down to get quick energy for playing hard. This stored sugar acts like a backup gas tank, preventing early tiredness. 21. What happens to a baby who has von Gaucher disease right now? The baby cannot use stored sugar, causing their blood sugar to drop. The sugar stays trapped inside the liver, which makes the liver swell. 22. Why might a sick child drink cornstarch before going to sleep tonight? Cornstarch releases sugar very slowly, preventing blood sugar drops during the night. This slow release of energy helps the sick child sleep safely, peacefully. 23. How does Pompe disease hurt the muscles of a small growing baby? Sugar gets trapped inside the muscle cells, making them very, very weak. This weakness affects the heart muscle, making it hard to pump blood. 24. What is a lysosome, and what does it do inside human cells? It is a tiny acid bag that cleans up the cell's waste. The lysosome breaks down old parts, keeping the whole cell very clean. 25. What happens in the brain of a baby with Tay-Sachs disease today? Trapped waste ruins the nerve cells, causing the baby to lose skills. Because the tiny trash cans are broken, the brain stops working normally. 26. Can doctors cure Tay-Sachs disease with a special medicine or surgery today? We do not have a cure yet, but we provide comfortable care. The damage to the brain is permanent, making it a sad illness. 27. How does Gaucher disease affect the hard bones of a sick child? The trapped cellular waste makes the bones weak, causing them to break. The sickness also makes the spleen get huge, which hurts the patient. 28. How do doctors usually treat a patient who has active Gaucher disease? They give the patient the missing worker enzyme through a special medicine. This medicine helps clean out the waste, protecting the very weak bones. 29. Why is a swollen liver a common sign of a storage disorder? The trapped waste takes up space, stretching the organ out very far. Because the trash cannot leave, the organ has to grow much bigger. 30. What is the main shared pattern seen in all these storage illnesses? A missing worker enzyme blocks a path, causing heavy trash to pile. This single missing piece creates a traffic jam inside the human cells. 31. Why do different storage diseases cause completely different symptoms in the body? Different workers clean different types of trash inside different human body organs. A brain trash problem looks very different from a liver trash problem. 32. How does replacing the missing enzyme help a sick baby feel better? The new enzyme acts like a replacement worker, cleaning the trapped trash. Once the trash is finally cleared, the swollen organs can shrink back. 33. Why must doctors create a different care plan for every single patient? Every disease requires a unique mix of special food and specific medicines. Doctors must carefully match the exact treatment to the exact missing worker. 34. What makes the human heart muscle weak during active Pompe disease illness? The heart cells get filled up with trapped sugar, losing their strength. A weak heart has trouble beating, making it very hard to breathe. 35. Why is early testing so helpful for managing these dangerous genetic diseases? Finding the problem early lets doctors stop the damage before it grows. Some children can live happy lives if they get treatment very quickly. 36. What happens when a child's blood sugar drops too low too fast? The child loses all their energy, making them feel faint and sick. The brain needs steady sugar, and it stops working without this fuel. 37. Why do Tay-Sachs babies seem totally fine for the first few months? It takes time for the bad waste to build up inside them. Once the waste levels reach a high point, the brain damage starts. 38. How does thinking of a busy factory help us understand metabolic illnesses? It shows how one broken machine ruins the entire daily work process. A broken enzyme acts just like a broken machine on the floor. Please check the description below this video, so you can get the full course right now. Section 3, welcome back to our class, where we learn about the human body. Today, we will talk more about those tricky amino acid problems in babies. Remember, amino acids are the tiny blocks that build all our proteins. When you eat meat or beans, your body chops the protein up. Sometimes, a baby is born missing a worker to chop specific blocks. One very strange sickness is called maple syrup urine disease, or MSUD. It has a funny name, but it is a very serious illness. Babies with this problem have a sweet smell in their wet diapers. The sweet smell happens because sweet chemicals build up in the blood. The baby's body cannot break down 3 specific types of amino acids. These 3 tricky blocks come from regular foods, like normal baby milk. If the baby drinks normal milk, the sweet chemicals hurt their brain. Doctors test for this sweet smell right after the baby is born. If the test shows a problem, the baby gets a special formula. This special food has all the good things, without the 3 bad blocks. Eating this safe food helps the baby grow up smart and happy. Another big amino acid problem is a disease called homocystinuria in children. This is a very long word, but the idea is very simple. The body cannot process an amino acid, which we call methionine today. Because the worker is missing, harmful chemicals pile up in the blood. These bad chemicals cause problems for the baby's eyes and their bones. A child with this sickness might grow to be very, very tall. They might also have trouble seeing, because their eye lenses can move. The bad chemicals can also make their blood clot in dangerous ways. We can help these children by giving them special vitamins every day. Sometimes, an extra vitamin B6 helps the broken worker do its job. If the vitamin does not work, we change the diet very carefully. We take away the bad protein, and we give them safe medicine. As an instructor, I want you to see the big picture clearly. Both storage and amino acid diseases come from one single missing piece. One tiny broken worker causes a huge chain reaction in the body. By finding the missing worker, we can stop the bad chain reaction. We use science to find the problem, and medicine to fix it. You are doing a great job learning these very hard medical ideas. Keep reading carefully, because this knowledge can help save a child's life. Now, let us practice what we learned with some newly written questions. We must always remember that these diseases do not go away easily. A child will need to visit the doctor many times a year. The doctor will check their blood, making sure the poison is gone. Parents must work very hard to keep their sick children perfectly safe. They read all food labels, searching for hidden proteins in the meals. Even a small piece of bread can have the wrong building blocks. This is why our learning is so helpful to these struggling families. When we know the facts, we can give them the best advice. Every time you study this, you become a better friend to them. I am very proud of the hard work you are doing today. 39. What is maple syrup urine disease, and how does it actually start? It is an illness where the body cannot process 3 amino acids. The broken worker enzyme causes sweet chemicals to build up very fast. 40. How do parents usually notice that their baby might have MSUD today? They will notice a very sweet smell in the baby's wet diaper. The sweet smell comes from the trapped chemicals leaving the baby's body. 41. Why is normal baby milk very dangerous for a child with MSUD? Normal milk has the specific protein blocks that the child cannot digest. If they drink it, the bad chemicals pile up and hurt them. 42. What happens to the baby's brain if they keep drinking normal milk? The sweet chemicals act like poison, causing severe damage to the brain. This brain damage will stop the child from learning and growing normally. 43. How do doctors fix the food problem for a baby with MSUD? They provide a special formula without the 3 dangerous protein building blocks. This special formula gives the baby safe energy to grow up strong. 44. What is the long medical name for the methionine processing sickness today? We call this long disease homocystinuria, and it hurts the whole body. The body lacks the worker needed to chop up the methionine block. 45. How does homocystinuria physically change the way a sick child looks outside? The bad chemicals can make the sick child grow very, very tall. It affects their bones, making them stretch out longer than normal bones. 46. Why might a child with homocystinuria need to visit the eye doctor? The trapped chemicals make their eye lenses move out of normal place. When the eye lens moves, the child cannot see things very clearly. 47. What dangerous blood problem can happen if homocystinuria is not treated fast? The sickness can cause the child's blood to clot in bad ways. A blood clot can stop the heart, which is a big emergency. 48. How does a simple daily vitamin help children who have homocystinuria illness? Extra vitamin B6 can push the broken worker enzyme to function better. If the worker does its job, the toxic chemicals will finally leave. 49. What must parents do if the vitamin medicine fails to work properly? They must feed the child a very strict diet without bad proteins. Changing the diet is the only way to stop the poison buildup. 50. Why do parents of sick children read every single food label carefully? They need to make sure there are no hidden proteins inside meals. Even a tiny mistake can bring the bad chemicals back very quickly. 51. What is the main cause of both storage and amino acid diseases? Both problems happen because the body is missing one tiny worker piece. This single missing piece creates a terrible chain reaction inside the cells. 52. How does checking the baby's blood help the doctor manage the illness? It lets the doctor see if the bad poison is still there. Regular blood tests tell the family if the special diet is working. 53. Why are regular doctor visits so important for a sick growing child? Doctors must carefully watch the child to catch new problems right away. These diseases change over time, so the treatment plan must change too. 54. What role do amino acids normally play in a healthy human body? They act as tiny building blocks to create strong and healthy proteins. The body uses these blocks to build muscles, skin, and healthy organs. 55. Why is a sweet-smelling diaper considered a medical warning sign for babies? It means the baby cannot process their food, leading to poison buildup. Healthy waste should not smell like sweet syrup or melted brown sugar. 56. How do doctors stop the bad chain reaction inside a sick baby? They find the missing worker and change the baby's food very fast. Removing the bad food breaks the chain, keeping the little baby safe. 57. Why do we say these special diets save a sick child's life? The diet completely removes the poison, letting the brain grow very normally. Without this diet, the poison would slowly ruin the child's whole body. Please check the description below this video, so you can get the full course right now. Section 4, welcome back to our class, where we are learning about complex human body systems together. We are not affiliated with any official group, but we want to help you learn. These are no leaked questions from the actual exam, but they are rigorously aligned with the official exam curriculum. Today, we will talk about how the human body cleans out bad air and waste. When you eat healthy meat, your body takes good parts and leaves the dangerous trash. This dangerous trash is a gas, which we call ammonia in the medical science world. Ammonia is a very toxic substance, meaning it can easily poison your brain right away. To keep you perfectly safe, your body has a special cleaning loop called urea cycle. The urea cycle uses destiny workers, turning the bad ammonia into a very safe liquid. This safe liquid is called urea, and it easily leaves your body in your urine. Sometimes, a tiny baby is born missing one worker in this very special biological loop. When a worker is totally missing, the cycle stops completely, and the bad ammonia piles. This sickness is called a urea cycle disorder, and it causes a very big emergency. If the ammonia reaches the baby's brain, the child will become very sleepy and sick. The baby might even fall into a deep sleep, which we call a medical coma. Doctors must work very fast, clearing the bad ammonia out of the baby's tiny blood. They use a special strong medicines, washing the blood until the dangerous ammonia level drops down. After the baby is completely safe, the parents must carefully control all the daily food. The baby cannot eat normal meat, because heavy meat creates too much ammonia right away. They must eat a special diet, taking low proteins to keep their growing brain safe. Doctors also give them special pills, which pull the extra ammonia out of their blood. There are many different types of urea cycle problems, depending on which exact worker fails. One common type is called OTC deficiency, which mostly makes little boys very, very sick. Little girls can also get sick, but boys usually have a much harder time recovering. Even a simple winter cold can be dangerous, making the child's bad ammonia go up. When a sick child rests, their body breaks down their own muscle for quick energy. Breaking down muscle creates more ammonia, which the broken cycle cannot clean up at all. This means sick children often need to visit the hospital, getting special fluids to heal. We must watch these small patients closely, testing their blood often to catch hidden problems. As a careful instructor, I want you to remember how dangerous high ammonia truly is. It is a true medical emergency, requiring very fast action to save the brain cells. Now, we will answer some clear questions to practice what we have just learned today. These simple practice questions will help you remember facts, making your test day very easy. I know you are doing great, so let us start reading the first question together. 58. What exactly is the dangerous trash called ammonia, and where does it normally come from? Ammonia is a toxic gas, which is made when your body breaks down meat proteins. The body takes the good energy from the protein, leaving the bad ammonia gas behind. 59. How does a healthy human body normally clean the bad ammonia out of the blood? The body uses a special cleaning loop, which we call the urea cycle in medicine. This natural cycle turns the toxic gas into a very safe liquid for the body. 60. What is the safe liquid that the urea cycle makes from the toxic ammonia gas? The safe liquid is called urea, and it easily leaves your body in your urine. By changing the bad gas into urea, the body completely protects the brain from poison. 61. What happens if a baby is born missing a worker in the special urea cycle? The cycle stops working completely, causing the dangerous ammonia to pile up in the blood. Without the tiny worker enzyme, the body simply cannot clean out the daily toxic trash. 62. Why is high ammonia in the human blood considered a very huge medical emergency today? High ammonia acts like a strong poison, which can quickly ruin the baby's growing brain. If it reaches the delicate brain cells, it can cause severe damage or a coma. 63. What are the first warning signs that a small baby has too much bad ammonia? The sick baby will become very sleepy, and they might refuse to drink their milk. The toxic poison slows down the nervous system, making the child lose all their energy. 64. How do hospital doctors help a very sick baby who has high ammonia levels today? Doctors use special fast medicines, washing the baby's blood until the poison level drops down. Washing the blood helps remove the trapped gas, keeping the tiny brain totally safe again. 65. Why must a child with a urea cycle disorder avoid eating large pieces of meat? Eating meat creates a large amount of ammonia, which their broken body cannot clean up. They must eat a strict low-protein diet, so the bad poison never builds up inside. 66. What kind of special daily medicine do these children take to stay healthy and strong? They take special pill medicines, which pull the extra ammonia right out of the blood. These pills act like backup trash cans, helping the broken cycle remove the daily waste. 67. What is the common urea cycle problem that mostly makes little boys very, very sick? This specific illness is called OTC deficiency, and it causes severe problems for young boys. While girls can carry the bad trait, boys usually suffer from the worst medical symptoms. 68. Why can a simple winter cold be extremely dangerous for a child with this illness? A cold stresses the body, causing ammonia levels to shoot up very fast without warning. The body breaks down its own muscles to fight the cold, creating more toxic waste. 69. What happens when a sick child breaks down their own muscles for quick fighting energy? Breaking down human muscle creates extra ammonia, throwing the sick body into a medical crisis. The broken urea cycle simply cannot handle this sudden flood of extra toxic gas trash. 70. Why do sick children with this disorder often need to visit the local hospital quickly? They need to get special fluids through a tube, helping them heal from their sickness. The hospital doctors can flush the poison out fast, keeping the child's brain perfectly safe. 71. Why is regular blood testing so important for managing a urea cycle disorder at home? Testing the blood regularly helps parents catch hidden ammonia spikes before the child feels sick. By tracking the exact numbers, doctors can change the special food or the daily medicine. 72. Does cooking meat completely remove the dangerous proteins that cause ammonia in a sick child? Cooking does not remove the protein blocks, so the meat remains dangerous for the child. The problem is the protein itself, which always breaks down into the toxic ammonia gas. 73. Can a child outgrow a urea cycle disorder as they get older and much stronger? The child will never completely outgrow it, because the broken worker enzyme stays broken forever. They must carefully manage their food and their special medicine for their entire adult life. 74. What happens if a patient stops taking their special ammonia-pulling pills for a few days? The bad ammonia will quickly pile up again, putting the patient in a dangerous coma. The daily medicine is always required, acting as a life-saving shield against the toxic gas. 75. Why do parents of these sick children feel very stressed during the cold winter months? Winter brings many common colds, which can easily cause a huge toxic crisis for children. Parents must constantly watch for tiny fevers, taking the sick child to the hospital fast. 76. How does eating a low-protein diet help the body survive a broken urea cleaning cycle? Less protein means less toxic gas is made, keeping the workload very low and safe. By reducing the daily trash, the broken body can easily handle the small remaining amounts. Please check the description below this video, so you can get the full course right now. Section 5, welcome back to our class, where we are learning about human bodies. Today, we will learn how the body uses fat for daily energy. When you sleep at night, your body cannot get new food easily. Instead, it uses stored fat to keep your heart beating perfectly safely. This process is called fatty acid oxidation, which is a long name. It means breaking down fat into tiny pieces for quick daily energy. Sometimes, a baby is born missing a worker to chop this fat. When this worker is missing, the body cannot use its stored fat. This causes a very big problem when the baby stops eating food. We call this sickness a fatty acid oxidation disorder in medical science. A very common type is called MCADD, which affects many small babies. If a baby with MCADD gets sick, they stop eating their meals. Because they stop eating, their blood sugar drops down very, very fast. Their body tries to use stored fat, but the broken worker fails. The fat piles up in the liver, causing the liver to swell. The baby's brain runs out of sugar, making them feel very sleepy. If they do not get sugar fast, they can have a seizure. A seizure is when the brain shakes, which is extremely dangerous today. Doctors find this problem quickly, by testing the baby's heel blood early. Once we know the baby has MCADD, we can keep them safe. The main rule is that the baby must never go totally hungry. Parents must wake the baby up at night, to feed them milk. Frequent feeding keeps the blood sugar high, protecting the growing brain safely. When the child gets older, they can eat a special low-fat diet. They eat healthy carbohydrates, giving them safe energy without using bad fat. If the child gets a stomach bug, parents must act very fast. They must give the child sugar water, or go to the hospital. Hospital doctors will give the child sugar directly into their tiny veins. This quick sugar stops the body from using the broken fat cycle. We always want to keep the body's energy tank totally full today. Another fat problem is called LCHADD, which is a bit more severe. It hurts the child's eyes and their heavy beating heart muscle too. Children with LCHADD need a very special oil, called MCT oil daily. This special oil skips the broken worker, giving the body safe energy. As an instructor, I want you to see the beautiful body design. Our bodies have many backup plans to keep us alive and well. When one backup plan fails, we use our good science to help. We become the new backup plan, using special food and safe medicines. I am very happy to share this important medical knowledge with you. Every lesson makes you smarter and helps you understand human health better. We must remember that science is always growing, and we learn daily. Doctors work very hard every year to find new and better medicines. You are part of this amazing journey by learning these hard facts. When you pass your test, you can help many sick people everywhere. I want you to feel very proud of your hard work today. Let us move to the questions now, so we can finish strong. 77. What happens when a healthy body uses stored fat during the night? It breaks down the stored fat into tiny pieces for safe energy. This natural process keeps your heart beating perfectly while you are sleeping. 78. What does the long medical name fatty acid oxidation mean for us? It is the biological process of turning body fat into quick energy. Without this process, we would have no backup energy when we stop eating. 79. What happens if a baby is missing the worker to chop fat? The baby's body simply cannot use its stored fat for daily energy. This broken system creates a huge medical problem when the baby goes hungry. 80. What is the very common fat problem that affects many small babies? This common sickness is called MCADD, and it affects many young infants. Babies with MCADD cannot digest certain types of fat from their daily food. 81. Why is a simple stomach bug extremely dangerous for an MCADD baby? A sick baby stops eating meals, causing their blood sugar to crash. Because they cannot use fat, their body has absolutely no backup energy left. 82. What happens to the unused fat inside a baby who has MCADD? The bad fat piles up inside the liver, causing it to swell. This trapped fat damages the liver and stops it from working normally. 83. Why does a baby with low blood sugar feel extremely sleepy today? The baby's growing brain completely runs out of sugar to stay awake. The brain needs steady sugar to think clearly and to stay conscious. 84. What is a dangerous seizure, and why does it happen to babies? A seizure is a dangerous brain shaking, caused by very low sugar. This is a medical emergency, because the tiny brain needs sugar immediately. 85. How do hospital doctors easily find out if a baby has MCADD? They take a small drop of heel blood for early disease testing. Early testing helps doctors start the safe feeding plan right away today. 86. What is the most important daily rule for protecting an MCADD baby? The most important rule is that the baby must never go hungry. Frequent eating provides constant sugar, so the body never needs backup fat. 87. Why must tired parents wake their sick baby up during the night? They must wake the baby up constantly to feed them warm milk. This night feeding keeps the baby's blood sugar safely high until morning. 88. What kind of special diet does an older MCADD child usually eat? They eat a very special low-fat diet, filled with many healthy carbohydrates. Carbohydrates give them safe energy, avoiding the broken fat burning cycle completely. 89. What must parents do if their MCADD child gets sick and vomits? They must act fast, giving the sick child special sugary drinking water. If the child cannot drink safely, they must rush to the local hospital. 90. How do hospital doctors help an MCADD child who cannot keep food down? They put liquid sugar directly into the child's veins using a tube. This direct sugar saves the child's life, stopping the dangerous fat cycle. 91. What is the other fat disease that hurts the heavy heart muscle? This very severe fat illness is called LCHADD in the medical world. It causes major damage to the beating heart and the child's small eyes. 92. What special medicine oil do children with LCHADD take every single day? They take a very special medicine, which is called MCT oil daily. This healthy oil safely skips the broken worker, providing quick clean energy. 93. Why do we say our bodies have many natural backup energy plans? Our bodies can switch from burning normal sugar to burning stored fat. This amazing design keeps us totally alive, even during long cold nights. 94. How does medical science become the new backup plan for sick babies? We create special foods and special medicines to bypass the broken systems. Section 6. Welcome back to our final section, where we will finish our great medical journey today. I am so very proud of you for learning all these hard medical facts together. Today, we will talk about a special milk sugar, which is called galactose in science. Regular milk has a normal sugar, which breaks down into this smaller galactose sugar piece. Sometimes, a newborn baby is totally missing the tiny worker needed to digest this sugar. When the tiny worker is completely missing, we call this dangerous sickness classic galactosemia today. If a sick baby drinks normal milk, the trapped sugar piles up like bad garbage. This trapped sugar poison hurts the baby's liver, causing their skin to turn very yellow. It also hurts the growing brain, and it ruins the clear lenses in their eyes. Doctors find this terrible disease very early, by testing the baby's tiny drop of blood. We fix this big problem quickly, by giving the baby special milk made from plants. Soy milk does not have the bad sugar, so the sick baby can drink safely. We have learned about many different sicknesses, affecting the liver, the brain, and the muscles. All these metabolic sicknesses happen because the human body is missing one tiny little worker. This single broken piece creates a huge traffic jam, trapping bad waste inside the body. You know that amino acid problems deal with proteins, building up toxic chemical poisons quickly. You also know that storage problems deal with trapped trash, making the human organ swell. We talked about dangerous ammonia gas, which completely stops the human brain from working right. We also learned about broken fat cycles, causing the blood sugar to drop extremely fast. The best tool we have right now is the special newborn blood test at birth. This early test saves thousands of lives by catching the dangerous problems before they grow. When we find the problem early, we can change the food and give special medicines. Parents of sick children must work very hard to keep their little babies perfectly safe. They must carefully measure every single meal, avoiding the hidden proteins and the bad sugars. They visit the hospital doctors very often to check the chemical levels in the blood. If the baby gets a winter cold, the parents must watch for very bad signs. A simple fever can completely ruin the body's delicate balance, causing a huge medical crisis. During a bad medical crisis, the child must get special healing fluids through a tube. Our medical science is getting much better, and doctors are inventing new healing treatments daily. Some scientists are trying to fix the broken genes, using very advanced new medical tools. If they can fix the broken genes, they might cure these terrible sicknesses completely forever. Until that amazing day finally comes, we must rely on our strict diets and pills. You have learned how to protect the human body by understanding these complex chemical rules. I hope you will use this great knowledge to help families who are suffering today. When you take your final certification exam, remember how the tiny broken workers cause trouble. Remember how the special foods and the fast medicines save the tiny growing baby's life. You are now ready to pass your big test and become a great medical helper. Thank you for studying so hard with me and completing this very long science course. 96. What is the special milk sugar called galactose, and where does it normally come from? It comes from regular milk, breaking down from a much larger and normal sugar piece. The body uses tiny workers to digest this milk sugar, providing safe energy for babies. 97. What happens to a baby who is completely missing the worker to digest galactose sugar? The bad sugar piles up like heavy garbage, causing the classic galactosemia sickness right away. Without the tiny worker to chop it, the trapped sugar becomes a very dangerous poison. 98. How does the trapped galactose sugar physically change the baby's soft skin color over time? The toxic sugar damages the tiny baby's liver, causing their skin to turn very yellow. A sick, swollen liver simply cannot clean the baby's blood, which leads to yellow skin. 99. What kind of special food do doctors give to a baby with classic galactosemia today? Doctors give them a special soy milk, which comes from plants instead of dairy cows. Plant milk does not have the bad sugar, so it protects the baby from early harm. 100. Why is the early newborn blood test considered our very best medical tool right now? It catches these dangerous genetic problems extremely fast, before the growing baby gets totally sick. Finding the sickness early lets doctors change the food, completely stopping the terrible brain damage. 101. What is the main shared cause of all the metabolic sicknesses we have learned today? They all happen because the human body is totally missing one tiny little worker piece. This single missing piece blocks the normal path, trapping toxic waste inside the human cells. 102. How do amino acid problems specifically damage the soft nervous system of a growing child? The body cannot process the protein blocks, building up toxic chemical poisons in the blood. These heavy chemical poisons destroy the healthy nerve paths, making the babulous important skills. 103. Why do parents of sick children have to visit the hospital doctors so very often? They need to constantly check the chemical levels, making sure the strict diet is working. Regular doctor visits help families fix small hidden problems before the child gets terribly sick. 104. What happens to the body's delicate chemical balance when a sick child gets a fever? A simple fever causes the body to break down fast, creating a huge medical crisis. The broken metabolic cycle simply cannot handle the extra chemical waste from the sudden fever. 105. How do hospital nurses quickly help a child who is facing a terrible medical crisis? The hospital nurses give the child special healing fluids, using a small plastic medical tube. These special fluids wash the heavy poisons out of the blood, restoring the body's safety. 106. Why must tired parents carefully measure every single meal for their sick metabolic baby today? They must avoid hidden proteins and bad sugars, keeping the chemical waste levels perfectly low. Even a small mistake in the daily meal can bring the dangerous chemical poison back. 107. What are medical scientists trying to do with the newly invented advanced medical tools today? They are trying to fix the broken genes, completely curing the sickness for all time. Changing the broken genes would give the child a brand new permanent worker for life. 108. What happens to the human organs during a severe and long-lasting storage disease crisis? The trapped cellular trash completely fills up the organs, making them swell out very far. The swollen organs push on other important body parts, causing terrible pain and great weakness. 109. Why does a sick child's blood sugar drop extremely fast during a fatty acid crisis? The child cannot use their stored fat, leaving them with absolutely no backup energy left. When they stop eating regular meals, their growing brain completely runs out of usable sugar. 110. How does dangerous ammonia gas specifically act inside a sick baby's small and growing body? It acts like a very strong poison, completely stopping the human brain from working right. It acts